At my mom's birthday, my brother's son dumped soda in my lap and yelled, "Grandma says you don't belong here." The table laughed. I wiped my clothes, smiled, and stayed quiet. That night, I pulled my name from their loan. By morning, his car was gone. And at 8 a.m. there was a knock at my door. I opened it and saw. My mom's birthdays had slowly turned into some kind of strange, formal performance where the golden grandson, my brother's 14-year-old son Tyler, got more attention than the birthday cake. I usually stayed quiet, gave my gift, made nice conversation, and left early. But that year, something about the invitation felt off from the beginning. Mom called and said, "I'd really love it if you'd come, Stephanie. Tyler's been asking if you're going to be there." That alone should have told me everything. Tyler didn't ask about me unless he was planning something. Last time he wanted a new gaming chair and tried to charm me with compliments about my cooking. 2 weeks later, he told one of his little friends that I used to be a mom but failed. His exact words. I heard it through my cousin's kid, and when I told my brother, he just said, "He's at that age where they test boundaries." So yeah, I didn't expect kindness. But I went anyway. Because despite everything, I still showed up. My brother's house was louder than usual. There were balloons and 2 store-bought cakes. Tyler had already opened half a dozen gifts and was bragging to some girl about how grandma was going to buy him a car the second he turned 16. My mom was laughing like she just heard the best joke in the world. No one noticed when I walked in. I had to clear my throat and wave before someone offered me a seat. My gift was ignored. The necklace I picked out for Mom stayed in the box all evening. She was too busy telling everyone how Tyler's teachers said he's gifted. Not just smart but genius level. No one asked me about my business. No one mentioned the fundraiser I hosted 2 weeks earlier. I was just a placeholder. Something they could point at and remind themselves they were better than. I sat between 2 people I didn't know. One of them had a beer in each hand. The other took my fork when hers fell. I didn't even say anything. I just let it go. I've been letting it go for years. Then came the moment that changed everything. Tyler stood up. He had a full cup of soda. Walked over to me like it was a casual thing. Stared right into my face and said, "Grandma says you don't belong here." And then he poured the soda in my lap. It was cold. Too sweet. I sat there, soaked in it, the sugar already starting to make my thighs sticky. And they laughed. The whole table. My mom turned to her friend and said something about how Tyler just says what's on his mind. My brother actually clapped. I wiped my lap with a paper napkin. That made them laugh harder. I smiled. Quietly. No reaction. No fight. I just sat there like I didn't feel humiliated. But inside something started turning. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't even anger. It was clarity. They didn't want me there. They never had. And now they made that clear enough for even me to stop pretending. I waited 5 more minutes. Excused myself like nothing happened. Got in my car. Drove home. Opened my laptop. My brother had been relying on a family business loan for over a year. He'd begged me to co-sign because Mom guilt-tripped him, and I was still in a haze of grief at the time. My name was on everything. I had power I'd never used. Until that night. I withdrew my name. Froze the account. He wouldn't find out until the bank called in the morning. And when he did, the car parked in front of their house, the one they bought just 3 months earlier, was towed by 7:45 a.m. At 8 a.m. there was a knock at my door. I opened it, and saw my brother Mike standing there with that same mix of fake concern and real panic I'd seen on him during every screw-up of his adult life. Except this time there was no mom to cover for him, no dad to write the check, and no me to pretend it was all going to be fine. He looked wrecked. He didn't wait for an invite in. "You need to fix this." No, "Good morning." No mention of the soda Tyler dumped in my lap. No hint of the fact that the entire table laughed at me like I was some sideshow. He shoved a stack of papers toward me. "The loan's frozen. They said the cosigner pulled out. They said if I don't replace you, we're in breach." I leaned against the doorframe. Didn't say a word. He kept going like reading a script. "The shop's not gonna make rent next month. The credit cards are already overdrawn. I've got payroll to meet. We've got Mom's insurance coming up, and Tyler's football fees are due next week." So I said nothing. That's when his voice shifted. "You're doing this over a joke?" That was the line. Not the soda. Not the years of jabs about my daughter. Not the graffiti. Just that. I shut the door in his face. 5 minutes later, my phone lit up with texts. First him, then his wife. Then Mom. All trying a different angle. Guilt, confusion, mockery. Tyler sent a TikTok of someone fake crying. No words. Just that. By that evening I found the damage. I'd closed the store late and walked into the parking lot with my keys in one hand and a grocery bag in the other. And there was my car. Keyed deep down both sides all the way to the metal. The rearview mirror kicked off. The back window spiderwebbed like someone had taken a bat to it. First I just stood there. Looked around the lot. Completely empty. No witnesses. Just silence and that weird sense of stillness, like the air itself was waiting for my reaction. I didn't call Mike. I didn't call Mom. I didn't yell or cry or scream. I went back inside, turned on the store's security feed and rewound. There they were. Tyler and one of his idiot friends. Hoodies up, laughing. One of them was filming the other. Tyler stepped up to my window, spray-painted the words "fake aunt" in sloppy red, posed like he was in a rap video, then kicked a flower pot off the steps for good measure. I didn't even blink. I called Uncle Ray. He was at my store in under 30 minutes. Sat through the footage without saying a word. When it was over, he leaned back in the chair and said, "You're calling the police." Don't argue. I didn't. He made the call. Stayed while I gave my statement. The officer was polite but firm. Said this wasn't the first complaint about Tyler. Apparently there'd been issues at school. Property damage. A few misunderstandings swept under the rug. But this time it wasn't going away. The next morning Mike was back at my place. Not knocking this time. Just standing across the street, pacing like he was waiting for a miracle. When he realized I wasn't coming out, he started yelling. I couldn't hear all of it, but I caught pieces. Words like traitor, heartless, and "you'll regret this." Then my mom called. She left a voicemail saying, "I don't know what got into you. You're letting money come between family. Over what? Some childish prank." She still didn't get it. None of them did. It wasn't about the soda. It wasn't about the window. It wasn't even about the loan. It was the years. Of being treated like I was a guest in my own bloodline. Of being tolerated, not loved. He's not appreciated. It was a slow build, a quiet erosion. They thought because I didn't explode I wasn't paying attention. They thought I would break. Instead, I watched the cracks form in their foundation for once. And I wasn't done yet. The official charges came through a few days later. Vandalism, trespassing, and property damage. Since Tyler was a minor, the cops had to loop in my brother and his wife. The footage made it easy. Too easy, honestly. There was no room for denial. No, maybe it wasn't him. I didn't celebrate. I didn't feel triumphant. I just opened the store like usual, swept up a few leaves outside and got back to work. But the phone started ringing more. Customers told me my brother had been going around saying I faked the whole thing. That I edited the footage. One of my vendors even got a visit from my mom, who warned him I was unwell and probably headed for another breakdown. I didn't respond. Instead, I sat down and made a list of everything they were tied to, everything I'd once handed over with trust. First was the business loan already frozen. Next was the lease agreement. My brother's second location? I co-signed that too. Then there were the accounts I set up to help his wife launch her Etsy boutique. The PayPal, the Stripe, the tax ID. All registered with my name. And that was my mistake. I gave too much. Trusted too easily. Now I was taking it back. By the end of the week, I'd severed every financial tie. Closed the accounts. Pulled permissions. Alerted tax services to remove my info from anything that had her name attached to it. They wouldn't be able to collect a penny without facing audits they weren't ready for. It was methodical. Clinical. And the fallout was immediate. Their boutique store shut down within 48 hours. My brother's lease bounced and the landlord put an eviction notice on the door. He tried to call me 17 times in one day. Left voicemails that went from pleading to threats to something that almost sounded like crying. Mom called again too. This time her tone had changed. She told me I was tearing the family apart. That Dad wouldn't want this. Funny, considering Dad was the only one who ever treated me like a partner instead of a backup plan. And that's when it hit me. They thought what they built was theirs. They acted like I was lucky to be part of it. But the truth was, it had all been mine from the start. My effort. My name. My backing. My risk. They never respected that because respecting it would mean acknowledging I had power. And they hated the idea of me holding anything they couldn't control. So they lashed out. One night I came home and found the front window of my store smashed again. This time they didn't even bother hiding it. A rock sat on the floor with a note rubber banded to it. One line. "You'll be alone forever." It didn't scare me. It didn't even make me angry. I picked up the rock, taped the note to the wall inside my office and called Uncle Ray again. He came the next morning with a lawyer. Said we were pressing full charges this time, and if the court asked for emotional damages, we'd go for that too. I didn't argue. I didn't hesitate. Because now this wasn't just about a birthday party or a soda stain or a broken window. This was about finally drawing a line in permanent ink. They weren't family anymore. They were just people with my last name. The court date was set. Tyler was being charged as a minor, but the civil suit wasn't just about him anymore. It was also about the damage to my store, my car, and now because Uncle Ray wouldn't let anything slide, the harassment. We had the video. The note. witnesses, and a very good lawyer. I expected things to get quiet while they panicked behind the scenes. But that's not what happened. 2 mornings later I got a voicemail from an unknown number. I almost deleted it assuming it was more junk. But something made me listen. The voice was unfamiliar, young and nervous. She said her name was Hannah. Then she said she used to work for Mike at his second shop, the one that had shut down a few days after I pulled my name from the lease. She said she didn't know what was going on at first. But when she heard about the lawsuit, something started bothering her. She'd overheard a conversation weeks earlier. Mike was talking to his wife about making her look unstable. She didn't know who he meant at the time. Now she did. And then she said it. He smashed the second window himself. I called her back immediately. She picked up after a few rings, voice shaking. Said she was done staying quiet. Said she had texts, receipts. She didn't want to be part of their mess, but she couldn't sit with it anymore either. I gave her the lawyer's info. She sent over everything. That same night, another woman reached out. Said she used to help Mike's wife with her online boutique. She'd seen fake invoices with my name on them, sent to vendors written up like I was a co-partner. All lies. She said they used my name to secure supplier deals, get early shipments, and even for a refund scam once. Then a third woman messaged my store's Instagram account. Same story. More dirt. I sent it all to Uncle Ray. By the next morning, the case had evolved from a petty vandalism dispute into something far more serious. Fraud. Misrepresentation. Identity misuse. Our lawyer filed amendments to the original claim within hours. They weren't ready for that. And I thought for a second that they'd back down. Maybe apologize. Maybe go quiet. But they didn't. They doubled down. Late that night I heard a noise outside. I checked the camera feed from my phone. There they were. Mike, his wife, and my mom. Standing in front of my store. Not moving. Just staring in through the glass like they were waiting for something. Then Mike took out his phone. And started live streaming. I watched it in real time. He called me a parasite. Said I was milking my daughter's death for attention. Said I was trying to destroy the family legacy. Said I was unstable and needed help. All while my mother stood silently behind him, her arms crossed, not saying a word. Not stopping him. They didn't realize I was watching from the apartment upstairs. I didn't go down. I didn't yell or confront them. I just called the police and emailed the live stream to our lawyer. It was taken down within an hour, but not before someone screen recorded it and sent it to a local news blog that loved messy family drama. They ran the headline, "Family Feud Turns Legal, Livestream Meltdown Adds Fuel to Fire." The next day people started showing up to the store. Strangers. Some regulars. A few asked if I was okay. A few just came to buy things and said, "Good for you." One woman left a note that said, "You handled this better than most would." And all I did was work. Quietly. While the fire spread behind me. Mike and his wife were hit with a court summons 2 days later. Fraud. Defamation. Damages. The whole thing. Their lawyer tried to negotiate. Said they'd be willing to resolve it privately if I just dropped the public claims. I didn't even respond. I let my lawyer handle it. Because what they never understood was that this wasn't revenge. This wasn't payback. This was survival. And they were the ones who lit the match. Court was set for a Thursday morning and I barely slept the night before. Not because I was nervous, but because I wanted it over. I wanted it settled. I wanted to walk in with the truth and leave with my life fully severed from theirs. I got there early. Uncle Ray was already waiting out front, sipping coffee like we were just heading to a hardware store. Calm, focused. He didn't say much, just handed me a copy of the paperwork the lawyer had filed the night before. The final amendment with all the exhibits attached. 7 in total. When Mike walked in he looked rough. Tie crooked. Red under his eyes. His wife was behind him, whispering something and checking her phone like she was trying to distract herself. They sat 2 rows ahead of us. Neither of them looked back. My mom wasn't there. I later found out she told the neighbors she was too heartbroken to attend. But someone forwarded me a photo of her that same morning, sitting on a patio at her favorite brunch spot, laughing with one of her church friends. The judge was professional and efficient. Our lawyer laid everything out. The video footage of Tyler. The livestream Mike posted. The signed invoices his wife had created with my name on them. And then came the witness statements. 3 former employees. 2 vendors. And Hannah. The girl who had the receipts of Mike planning the second act of vandalism himself. I watched Mike shrink further into his seat with each exhibit. And then our lawyer asked for restitution. Not just repair costs, but emotional damages, business interference, legal fees, the whole list. Their lawyer tried to argue it was excessive, that this was a private family dispute that had gotten out of hand. But the judge didn't bite. She looked at the live stream transcript, flipped through the screenshots and said something I'll never forget. If this is how your family handles things privately, then I'm grateful it became public. We won. Every single claim. Mike and his wife were ordered to pay over $28,000 in damages. Tyler was sentenced to community service, mandatory counseling and a formal apology, which he delivered later via email, clearly written by someone else. I didn't respond. But what happened after court was almost worse. A week later, I came home late to find the flower bed outside my apartment destroyed. My mailbox was bent in half. And someone had dumped old food all over the front door. No note. No signature. Just mess. I didn't even blink. I cleaned it up, installed another camera, filed another report. The police took it seriously this time, because now there was a record. A few days after that, the same cousin who'd quietly kept in touch texted me. He said he'd been at a family gathering, a small one, mostly older relatives, and someone brought me up. My mom said I'd turned into a cold, bitter woman. That I was using grief to get ahead. Mike. He said he wasn't done fighting. I didn't respond to the text. I just screenshotted it, filed it away. But that was when I realized something that made me feel calm in a way I hadn't in years. They were unraveling. The more I built, the more they broke down. The store, doing better than ever. I'd launched a new line of locally sourced products. Partnered with a regional supplier. Sales had doubled in a month. We were expanding. My staff had grown. I was busier than I'd ever been, but it didn't feel heavy. It felt earned. And I made sure the right people heard about it. Not everyone. Just the cousins who were still decent. The ones who still called on birthdays. The ones who showed up at the funeral without needing to be begged. I told them about the expansion, the press coverage, the business award I was being nominated for. Casually, almost as an afterthought. And they told the others. I never said anything cruel. Never gloated. Just facts. Progress. Happiness. And I knew it was eating them alive. Because for years they told me I needed them. That without their approval, their attention, their family name, I'd be alone. But now they were the ones shut out. And the worst part for them, I was doing just fine. A few months passed. The store was thriving and I no longer checked over my shoulder. The cameras were still up, the locks still reinforced, but that sense of edge, the constant tension, had dissolved. Peace wasn't loud. It was quiet. Like waking up and realizing the buzzing in your head has finally stopped. I hadn't heard from my brother since court. His wife unfollowed me on every platform. Tyler vanished from the internet, or maybe they just made his accounts private. Either way, their silence felt more strategic than remorseful. My mom never called again. Not once. But I still heard things. Always through other people. An older cousin told me Mike had tried to start another business, but no one would back him. Word had spread, quietly but wide enough. Suppliers didn't trust him. Landlords wanted co-signers. Even their church, once blindly loyal, had grown distant after the live stream. They were stuck. The damage they caused was no longer just to me. It was on their names. Their reputations, their finances, and the best part? I never needed to fight dirty. Everything I did was by the book. Every document, every statement, every withdrawal from the loan or lease, all within my rights. They had thrown mud. I handed the judge a file. But there was one moment, unexpected and oddly satisfying, that really sealed it for me. It was a Sunday. The store was closed. I was cleaning up after a private event we'd hosted. A small local showcase, women-owned businesses, lots of laughter and food. One of the new girls I'd hired was sweeping when she paused and said, "Some lady was standing outside earlier, just staring in, dressed up like she came from church." I checked the camera feed. It was my mom. She stood there for maybe 5 minutes. Didn't knock. Didn't come in. Just stared through the glass, like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Like she expected the place to be closed. Abandoned. Or maybe she expected to see me struggling. Alone. But instead she saw people cleaning up from a full event. A growing staff. A well-stocked store. Light. Music. Movement. She left without saying anything. I didn't call her. I didn't chase her down. I just went back to locking up and wiping the counters. Like nothing happened. Because by then it really was nothing. I don't miss them. Not my brother. Not his smug little son. Not the woman he married or the mother who spent her energy protecting everyone except the daughter who needed her. I don't miss the forced smiles or the small talk or the silences that always felt loaded with judgment. I don't miss pretending to laugh at Tyler's jokes or pretending it didn't sting every time they left my daughter out of family photos. I'm building something now. Something real. Not just a business, but a life where I'm respected, safe, heard. And yeah, sometimes when something goes well, When we hit a sales milestone, when a new product sells out, when someone tags the store on social media saying how beautiful the space is, I make sure a certain cousin knows. Not out of spite. Just strategy. Because I know they'll tell them. And I know it drives them crazy. Maybe that's petty. Or maybe it's just what it looks like when the quiet one finally gets tired of being pushed around. Either way, I sleep just fine.